Hey, we got the same T-shirt on. What are the odds?
Yeah, how did that happen? So how you been anyway?
I've been good, man. I've been good. You know the story behind this T-shirt?
No.
Okay, these two arms, they belong to two people. Who are they?
You and John?
There you go. Yep, me and John. Now, the next question, which one's me, which one's John?
What would it be on you? The one on the right for me is you.
So, this one or this one? This one or this one?
That one.
This one.
No, the other one.
That's me, that's John. You're right. John's winning the pressure. But yeah, that was Hector from Mexico. Saw the photo of me and John gripped up, and he turned it into a silhouette, and it became a T-shirt. So
it's a good shirt. Yeah. This one. I pretty much wear your shirts everywhere. I hardly ever wear any other T-shirt anymore because these are just too comfy.
Yeah. No, that's good. How you been, man?
Yeah, good. Yeah, training hard.
Yeah. Last time we gripped up, you felt like a tank.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I would be comfortable in saying I'm stronger now. I've been doing a lot of 1 RM sort of work, and yeah, I've never really done too much of it before, so I'm definitely feeling pretty strong. But yeah, it's good.
Yeah, wicked. You have to be calling out Ryan Scott. You need to get yourself in that super match.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of happy to stick to my weight for a little while first, but I would love a match with Sam. So as soon as COVID's done, I want to try to line a match up with Sam.
Yeah, that's a good match. That is a good match.
And then if I can get past him, then I'll see where I go. But yeah, I think he's a good sort of first stop.
Yeah, did you see what he did on the weekend? It was phenomenal, man. He won 5 of the 6 weight categories at the Queensland titles.
Yeah, it's crazy,
He literally did not stop pulling all day. All 7 hours he was competing. He was exhausted at the end of it. But it took till the last bloody division for him to lose a match. It was crazy. And it was Jordan Davis, of course, that did it to him. So when you got Jordan, you get the fresh Jordan and like, dude, you got no chance. You got no chance.
So Jordan only pulled the supers that day.
He did. He only pulled the supers right.
Do you know what he was weighing?
92 kilos.
Jeez. That's a heavy Jordan, no. That's a bloody...
Yeah, when Jordan's in the 90s, he's a different beast. Like, he's someone who yo-yos between 85 and 92. And when he's 92, he just feels healthier and stronger. You can just feel his fundamental powers way more, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that top roll hit all of a sudden becomes real nasty.
Oh yeah, he looked pretty impressive.
Yeah, Fatali was 135 kilos, so that was a big Fatali too. And to be honest, Fatali's hand and wrist looks so thick these days. It's like, it's intimidating. I mean, the last time I pulled Fatali, I won 4-3 in a super match. It was a war, and so Jordan's just beaten a bigger, improved version of Fatali than I beat. So I'm like, oh man.
So he's coming after you next.
They're coming. Anyway.
So the Lachlan match. Yeah. Right now you're focused on Lachlan.
I'm gonna beat him, man.
So I heard you say the other day, I can't remember where it was, but you talked about Lachlan was afraid.
Oh, man, I think Lachlan's afraid in a lot of ways. I think Lachlan will quit the sport if I beat him. I think he hasn't left a spot in his head to deal with losing. And I think when it arrives for him, he's going to really struggle. He's going to vanish for a couple of months, and he's going to have to consult his mother or something, I don't know, to feel better again. But Lachlan's in trouble. I promise you, he is in trouble. Yeah. He really is.
I'm having a hard time with this match. It's like I'm seeing you do the stuff you're doing in the gym, and I'm like, oh, geez, he's looking pretty impressive. And then I see Lachlan lift some stupid weight, and I'm like, oh, I don't know now. Like,
well, yeah. You have a really interesting perspective on this match, because you got to grip up with Lachlan when Lachlan was ready for Ryan Scott and didn't get to face him due to the COVID nonsense. So you know what I'm coming up against. That is what I'm facing. That version of Lachlan. He is ready. He's 115 kilos right now. He's primed, and that's what I'm facing.
Yeah, I asked him about that the other day, and he actually said that he's stronger now than he was for that Ryan Scott match. So I was like, oh Jesus, I couldn't imagine a stronger Lachlan. He just felt like a brick wall.
Yeah, I'll admit that day over at your place, gripping up with Lachlan on the side table felt stupid. It was like, well, there's nothing any one of us could do here. It's just dumb. We can't affect him at all in any way, shape, or form. But I'm equally there. I'm equally there with a couple of months preparation and a taper. Like gripping up with him the other day in that press conference.
Oh, that was intense.
Exactly. It was.
I was going to talk about that actually. I was a bit worried, like, because when I go into a match against somebody I know from the club, I find it hard to get intense and actually be aggro with someone. And I was sort of worried you two might be a bit like that. But yeah, after seeing that, I'm not so worried anymore.
Well, yeah, 2 months ago or 2.5 months ago, whatever it was, when we agreed on this match, we said to each other, look, we're buddies. No one wants to see two buddies politely grip up. They see that every time we train. This is for the top rank in Australia. This is legit. I am no longer your friend. I am going to do everything I can to defeat you, and I'm going to. And we said, whatever. And Lachlan's like, just know that I've become an asshole to my opponents. And I'm like, bring it. I'm ready for it. If you think I'm not going to be an asshole back, you got something coming for you. And we saw that at the press conference, because people asked me, was it real? People asked me if it was real, and I said, fucking oath it was real. I said, yes, we're friends in the background, but that has all been put on hold. We are not friends right now. We are two people coming for the top rank and not backing down. And that's what you saw. And those emotions are real. I tell you, you can't get up there like that and have someone push you in the chest like that and not get that hormonal reaction of like, hang on, what the fuck did you just do to me? I'm step back up.
Yeah, it did not look fake to me. I was like, oh, geez, there's some real tension here.
It's real. It's 100% real.
So do you think it's going to change anything? Like, depending on who wins, will you just go straight back to...
Look, this is the interesting thing. Like I said, I think if Lachlan loses, he's gonna struggle. Lachlan doesn't have a place in his mind where he can conceive a potential loss. He doesn't. I see that as a weakness in him, because that makes him vulnerable, makes fear come into his mind. Okay. On the other alternative, I'm okay losing any time in my life. If somebody is good enough to defeat me, they bloody deserve it. But they will be defeating the absolute best version of me that exists on that given moment. And it's very true to say that the version of me that will face Lachlan is the best version of me that has ever been, by a freaking country mile. So I'm okay. Like, I'll be fine. I'll be able to go back to being buddies, go back to being training, go back to all that sort of stuff. If he's good enough to beat me, I'll shake his hand and say, well done, too good. If I beat him,
does he want to steamroll you?
Well, of course he does. Of course he does. And that's one of the things. He's painted it so much in his mind that he thinks he can steamroll me. That when he feels that round one grip up where his wrist is like teetering on the edge of collapsing in the setup, and he's like, oh shit, then the fear is just going to overwhelm him. And that's what I mean. By not giving yourself permission to acknowledge that someone out there can be better than you. They can. By not doing that, you open yourself up to the anxiety of fear and the criticisms from all the people that he's worried about. Like I said, for me, if Lachlan just bosses me, I'm going to go, holy shit, man, you are impressive. Well done.
I think everybody will. Carry on.
But to be honest, because I have that mindset, it frees me up. There's no pressure in my own head. Man, I'm there to tee off, and I will tee off. And then it comes down to, okay, is Lachlan actually strong enough to do what he thinks he can do to me? And I'll tell you right now, Lachlan's fundamental strengths are about 10, maybe 15% ahead of mine if we're talking fundamental strengths. But as you know, Kyle, you're a very experienced arm wrestler. Arm wrestling is not done in basic fundamental directions. It's a combination of many directions all at once. Engen Terzi puts it very well that what makes an elite arm wrestler is the ability to very rapidly combine as many muscle groups as you can against as few muscle groups in your opponent as possible.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that is where I'm leaps and bounds ahead of Lachlan. In that first quarter of a second of that match, I will throw more at him than he's prepared to handle, and his wrist will crack, and I will pin him, and I will pin him decisively.
So,
That's how I
so
see it.
you're pretty confident you're going to get the jump every time. It's going to be him trying to catch, and
he round one, I think, will be too scared to try to hit. He'll be too scared to hit because if he puts energy into a hit, it'll make his hand and wrist weaker. He's already going to sense in the setup that his hand and wrist is being threatened. So his autopilot reaction, I know it very well, is to squeeze and hold on and try to be the catcher. That's his instinct. I know it. I just know he can't hit because he'll be terrified. And he's not as experienced enough to get the position where he can relax and hit. Now, if, let's say I've cracked him a couple of times, he might try to go to a soft start and a top roll hit, but that will just become worse for him. It'll look even better for me, and it'll be terrible for him. I think in the end, it could, like the best case scenario for me is I crack him the first couple of rounds when he's got his energy high, with him trying to stop me. He gets so frustrated. He ends up taking like some Saplenkov grip super low just to try to protect his hand. And if he takes a Saplenkov grip, I'm coming straight in on top of him, and I'm going to look him in the eye and hold him in a hook whilst he's got such shit rotation. And that's when he'll quit the sport. When I hold him in a hook and end up pressing him to the pad or letting him pin himself, that's when it's over for Lachlan right there.
So who's going to be reffing this?
Tom Iglesia, and Tom's like, hey, this is going to be the most stressful match of my fucking life.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't want to be reffing that.
It's going to be intense, and Tom's currently recruiting for a down ref, and everyone's like, no, I don't want to do it. No, I don't want to do it.
So you expecting any surprises from Lachlan? You expect him to pull out a press, or does he have anything? Any surprises in him?
Lachlan has a press, but I don't anticipate he'll get in the position for it. Like, I mean, I'm going to be initiating all of these matches. He's going to be catching. Let's say he does catch. If he catches, it's going to be in an open arm position. He does have immense bicep strength that he may be able to reverse it over. But when he does reverse it over, he's not going to be in a position to transition to a press. So I don't think we're going to see that. If he tries to top roll and the match somehow stays at center, he might try to press because he'll sense that the longer it stays at center, the worse it's going to become. So it's there, but I'm not worried about it. Like I said, he's been trying to he's been trying to become Giannis Amlins. Like, technically, he is known that he sucks as an arm wrestler. Within himself, he admits he's better in strength than he is in execution, by his own admission. So he's been trying to become Giannis. That's why he trained under Giannis. He's been studying with Giannis. He wants to be a big Giannis, and I think that's a great thing to aim for. However, his default setting, when we all have one, his default setting when the match is becoming sketchy and when the match is unsure in his mind, is to be the big, slow, dumb catcher. And that's where he'll go. He won't surprise me with anything. Not at all.
Should make it interesting.
He'll be squeezing and catching. Like I said, and the reason he'll be squeezing and catching is because the strength gap between he and I is less than he realizes. And I felt that in our grip up the other day. In our press conference, what I felt from him was that he can't just grab me with a flat wrist. He has to get the supination. He has to get wrist flexion. Sure, once he's here, I can't pull him back from there. That's ridiculous. There's no chance. But man, you square that dude up to the side of the table and flatten that wrist. Oh my goodness. Feels like a different Lachlan.
I've noticed in some of your videos, obviously you've been doing a lot of looks like bicep work. Did you think that was a gap like the big gap that you said?
It's funny. A lot of people have asked me about that, and it's interesting because if you were to ask me where do biceps rank in a fundamental priority for arm wrestling, I put them quite low. They're obviously valuable, but then they're not as valuable as wrist flexion or pronation, in my opinion, or anything hand and wrist. But I already know that I have enough hand and wrist to do the job, if I get to position. One way that I know I lose the match is if I don't have the static threat at center in the initial grip up to maintain a high position. If I have to grip Lachlan low, I'm screwed. I can't grip him low. He's got too much wrist flexion and too much back pressure there. So there's a lot of reward for me being able to maintain a high position. Now, I already know that I was able to, like 3 months ago, if we had had this match, maintaining a high position was like, oh, I can maybe get it. Yeah, it's right there. It was like really red line to get it.
Yeah.
So for me, given that I had 3 months prep, I thought the greatest reward in preparing specifically for Lachlan was to add some value to my static threat at center table in respect to being able to maintain high knuckles. So the work's been done. My numbers have gone through the roof in my bicep.
Yeah, it's been impressive.
I've added 23% to my bicep lifts in the last 2 months. So I go into this match now feeling like I could have won it with what it felt like 2 months ago. Now it's like, oh man, if when we get to the start, like if I've got like real significant control of the high ground, I'll tell you it's 6-0 and it's going to be a real bad day. If he can't match the high ground with me, because my arm's longer than his, if he can't match the high ground with me, he is screwed. He is so screwed. And you'll see that, you'll know the very first ready go outside of straps, if you see him slip and run for the hills, it's over. Okay, it's over, because if he can maintain high ground, he will hold on out of straps. But if he senses that I've got the high ground, you watch him run for the hills.
So you're going to try to do it out of straps?
Yeah, I will. If he is slipping me, I will start banging directly sideways from there and scaring the pants off him, and just yeah. If he grips me too deep, I'll hook him out of straps as well. I'm really comfortable out of straps because I can initiate a lot quicker than him. So when the match stops, I'm in position. He won't be. So, but that first radio out of straps will be a very big indicator as to how the match goes. If he tries to hold on to me out of straps first radio, you know we're in for a war, and it could go either way. But
do you think that benefits you? If it ends up in a war, do you have more stamina?
Yeah, I think that. Well, I think. Yes, I have more stamina in the sense that I can maintain, let's say I can maintain 100 or 90% of my max effort for longer than he can maintain 90% of his max effort. But his max effort is higher than mine. So it's an interesting one. Like, I mean, the stamina thing depends on where the match stops. If the match stops in a slightly compromised position for him, then he's screwed. If the match stops in a compromised position for me, then it's going to be harder. I do have more endurance than him. My elbow is the one thing that I know is better than his. If we're talking fundamental strengths, his biceps better than mine, his wrist flexion is better than mine, my pronation is better than his, and my elbow integrity, i.e. joint connectiveness, elbow-based side pressure, is better than his as well.
Yeah.
So
after seeing the Ryan Scott match, I would agree with that, because that was some pretty crazy stuff.
I've never been able to do that to Lachlan because his bicep strength is so big. Like if he busted my wrist back and I'm there, I think his biceps too much. But if his pronation is gassed, which I will be able to do over 6 rounds, I believe I will get his pronation totally under control. He will be palm up from round 3 onwards. He will be palm up for all rounds. And if he's going to pin me, he's going to be doing this ugly novice-looking drop-in hook where he's using just his bicep. That's all it'll be. That's all he'll have left because his pronate will be dead.
So does he have a king's move?
He doesn't have a king's move, but he will do any. He'll probably die on his sword because he won't want to lose. So if we're ever going to see one, this will be the time. But he'll be so bad at it that I'll sit there and laugh and just move around it and just wait for it and just it won't be good. It won't be good.
So what about you? Are you prepared to rip out a king's move if you need to?
Oh, hell yeah. I will do everything. And that's the thing. I can do it all proficiently. I got the full range. I got the full range of weapons up the sleeve if I need them. Like one thing that makes me, I think, successful in my super matches is that I'm conditioned across the full spectrum, but I also believe I have a great ability to foresee all of the future pathways that can potentially happen in a match. I study it, I think about it, and I envision. That's what people hear me give detailed predictions on Dave Chafee versus Levan. That's what I really enjoy diving deep into imagining the nuances of the entire match. And there is definitely a pathway where I can see myself banging sideways, crushing his pronator. He stops it with his bicep. He reverses into this dropping hook. I absorb it, but then I can't get out. He goes on another attack and opens up my bicep, and I have to drop into a king's move, and then I flatten his wrist. And he will then try to flop, roll me, and desperately try as I climb and get control of his hand. He might then come up for a flop press, but it'll be too late because I'll have control of the hand completely, and I'll be rising and regripping and getting back center. So there is a scenario where I can see it happening. It's not a likely scenario. I think I'll fundamentally defeat him before it gets to that point, but there is that possibility. And yes, I am prepared to if I have to. Awesome. There's no shame in it.
I almost want to see it now. Two Kings moves, just both of you just desperate.
You know, in training we've been there before. We have been there before. And Lachlan was quite lost when I did it. He showed his inexperience in knowing the smaller movements needed to counter it.
It is
really
well. It's I'm the same. Like the first time I experienced it training, I was like, Jesus, what the hell do I do with this? But then after 2 or 3 times, I'm pretty comfortable with it now that I know sort of how to deal with it, and it's not too bad once you kind of know.
You have a solid King's move yourself too. I've seen you do that.
On the left, I do. The right, no, I cannot do it on the right. It's hopeless. So.
Yeah. Well, I know that Lachlan will try to press it. If he senses that I have a genuine stop in the King's move, he will very urgently rush to a press. He won't try to out King's move me. He won't try to climb and regrip. He knows he'll lose that because he sucks. But he will be like, "Oh shit, press the red button on the press now. Go for it." Because that's his only chance. But all in all, the thing about this is, Lachlan is really strong. You know that. I know that. Like, one of the things is I don't think the world realizes how strong Lachlan is yet. We haven't had the opportunity to pull internationally in a couple of years. I think Lachlan's fundamental strength is phenomenal, and this is easily my toughest super match. If I look at all my other super matches I've ever had, this one is like freaking leaps and bounds ahead of the second most difficult guy that I've faced. So this is a big deal for me. I'm happy that it's for the #1 rank in Australia. It's something I've been aiming for 8.5 years, almost 9 years.
Has it come as quick as you thought it would? This moment?
I think my earliest prediction, I said it would happen in 2020, but we never got the chance in 2020 to really do it. That was I go back, if you look through the social media posts, I think in about 2017, I made a prediction that by 2020 I'd be #1, but looks like it's going to be a year late. But
if it wasn't for COVID, you probably would have been almost bang on.
Maybe could have got it, but even still, there's still a few matches that need to happen. I'd love to know what the true order is of Australians' top 10. It's we kind of know it, but it's not 100% certain. Obviously, Ben Carroll, Ryan Scott could come back at any point in time and be dangerous again. Brett Coots is dangerous. Mario is on the rise. Jordan's on the rise. There's interesting. Fatali's a beast. You could be in there at any point in time as well. Sam Burnett's small, but he's freaking man. He's making waves. Yeah, there's a good bunch there now.
Yeah,
and then Gunther's could pop back in at any time too, and then you think you're like, oh shit, it's Gunther's.
Oh man, if he came back and took it seriously, everybody would be in trouble, wouldn't they?
Yeah, he'd be right back at that point, without a doubt. But this match for me, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good. I really genuinely feel like I have everything needed to win it. What I felt the other day in that press conference didn't scare me. It gave me the confirmations I needed to say, yes, I will get the job done.
Yeah, and that's why I'm probably kind of leaning to you a little bit more, purely because you're such a good obviously you're good at seeing a match and knowing what you need to do, and he's your training partner, so you know exactly what you need to do. And I find your prep is on point. So it's going to be a tough day for him. I think it's definitely not going to be easy.
In the room the other day at the Queensland titles, Lachlan didn't arrive until a couple of hours after I'd arrived, and just when I was in the room, people who hadn't seen me for a while, they're all coming up to me and touching my arm, and like they're saying, oh, "Dude," they're saying to me, "You were looking big on the photos and videos, but holy shit, dude! In real life, you were looking huge." And they're all saying, "I can't see you losing. I can't see you losing." And then Lachlan arrived, and then they all went, "Oh, shit, Lachlan's big."
So who would you say Queensland's on? The inside circle?
Well, and I actually polled a bunch of arm wrestlers in the room, and I'd say 60% were Lachlan in the room.
So it's close.
Yeah, it's close. And there were a bunch of fence sitters that just were too scared to give us an answer because they saw how angry we got and they didn't want to upset us.
So who's going to be in your corner? Jordan or Sam?
I've been preparing with Sam Burnett and Ethan Tunstall for the match, so I'll probably have those two guys in the corner. Sam Burnett for me was the best guy that was shaped like Lachlan. That when I added some bands to him, he had a similar sort of feel. So I've been using. He's been helping me out with all of my explosive training. And Ethan Tunstall is kind of he's like Jordan in the sense that he's a real thinker and a technician. So I've been doing a lot of prep with him as well. Where I think Lachlan's been training with Fatali. So.
Oh, really?
Again, makes sense. Lachlan's just been trying to get stronger. That's all he does. I lift heavy things. Kind of
wrist
stuff.
flexion.
Yeah.
Do you think that's where it's going to be won or lost with him? If he can't get that wrist flexion, then he's cooked?
100%. If Lachlan bends his wrists, he wins. I promise you. I cannot beat him if his wrist is like that. No. But if that dude's wrist is there, he is fucked so bad. He cannot pin me with a flat wrist. No way. No way.
So it's
pretty much down to that.
If you end up winning this, is it back onto the big match and it'll be sort of for number one in Oceania, or?
Yeah, Mataru Rangi, I would love to face. It was only COVID that stopped us. So whenever that bubble opens again with New Zealand, that'll be on. But also Sasha Andreev and Božidar Simeonov from Bulgaria have agreed to come to Australia again as soon as the borders are open, which apparently isn't too far away. So I've offered to pay for their travel. And
let us know when that's going to happen, because maybe I can tee up the match with Sam then and be over for that.
Yeah.
Be cool to rip up those guys.
As much as I love Mataru Rangi, and he is a match I want, Southern Hemisphere hasn't got the recognition it deserves yet.
Yeah.
And me pulling Mataru Rangi doesn't help us at all. I mean, we find it interesting, but Europe doesn't, and North America doesn't. Well, they'll watch, but they don't think that the winner means anything in that respect. So I want to pull Europeans next. They're my biggest priority. I want to pull Sashos. I want to pull Iraklis. I want to pull Zoloevs. I'd happily pull Todd Hutchins and people like that as well. And I just know I'm ready. I mean, again, people don't know, for instance, how well Ryan Scott did against Ron Barth. When Ron Barth came out and had a super match, like, they were balanced, and people don't see that. People don't recognize that level of strength. They, for some reason, think, nah, you just Aussies, you're still no good. But we've been at it for a decade now, and that's sufficient time that our best are as good as humans get. Really.
Yeah, I think we just need to be able to get out there more, don't we? And get more experience on the international level. And
absolutely, Sam Burnett is so ready at his weight. Jordan, we know Jordan can freaking threaten almost anybody in the world at his weight. And so I'm sure he would. Lachlan as well. I mean, Lachlan against Crassi or against Marcio would be amazing. And likewise, I just want to go to Zloty. I want to win that. I'd probably pull a 95 kilo category, because I'm weighing like 102 right now. So I would cut to the 95s.
Are,
We do
are
a
you
water,
on
water
are
cut.
you on target for your 110, or you think it's going to drop short?
I started eating too early, and I got up to like 105, and I felt all heavy and bloated and nauseous. So I backed off again. I've dropped down to my normal weight at the moment, which is like 102. I'm going to ramp up from 10 days out again because I started too early. So I was taking lots of creatine. My stomach started
Oh
feeling
yeah.
all like bloated and oh no, it was terrible. It's going to the shit I had. Taking a crap 3 times a day. It was terrible. So from 10 days out, I will do it. So I don't think I'll be 110. I think 106, 107 is what you'll see me at on the day.
And
Even though I was only 100 kilos at that press conference the other day, I'll be 106, I reckon, is my guess.
and are you just going to stay around that weight now, or?
No, I will drop back down after the match with Lachlan because it's hard for me to maintain 106. I think as soon as I stop force feeding and go back to just my natural appetite, I'll be back around 101, 102. And then from there, if I get an international opportunity, I'm willing to cut to 95 on a water cut just to pull in that Zloty tour or something like that. But the priority for me of 2022 moving forward in an international sense will be I would like to qualify for the top 8. So,
and if COVID ends up stuffing this, he's just going to go to a park somewhere and just do it anyway.
well, yeah, that's the one good thing about this that we've said. Like COVID's killed everything in Australia, just everything. This one can't be killed because we live local to each other. So no matter what, even if Queensland goes into a damn snap lockdown and they say no events on, I will put my backdrop up in my freaking backyard. We'll get the referees and we'll get a bunch of people around, and we will. This will happen no matter what. Nothing can stop this other than one of us dying.
And is this going to be live on your page?
100%. This will be live on my YouTube channel without a doubt. Yep.
Are you going to do the whole event live?
I think so. I think that's the plan. I will do the whole event live. I will probably schedule my match with Lachlan as a separate live, so people can watch it back straight away, easier as well. But yeah, the whole. I think there's about 10 or 12 solid super matches on that day.
I was going to ask you about that. The other sort of headlining matches, who you have in them ones.
Yeah, we got Grant Tolentino against Marcus Satirai on the right arm. That's good. Marcus is huge, as you know. He's ranked number 9 on the overalls. Grant kind of making a comeback.
He looks massive at the moment.
Yeah, he's built and ripped, so he's looking good. That's a good match. Then you've got Sam Safiri, Sam Burnett. Old guard return of Sam Safiri, first time competing. He's been around the club for about 6 months now, just training and just waking up that competitiveness again. And as you know, he used to be
a side pressure monster, eh?
Slam and Sam. So he's going. I think so. Yeah, he's going straight for the kill and taking on Sam Burnett. And I think Sam Burnett is going to be too much for him. He's too well rounded, and he can. If the match stops anywhere, it's all Sam Burnett's. But
so you don't think he'll even get an early round or two with that speed?
I think it'll be. No, I think it'll be all Sam Burnett. I think Sam Burnett's hand is just too good. Like when you feel Sam's hand, it surprises you. You go, hang on, for a dude that's 80 kgs, how do you do that? How do you have a hand that good? Like outside of straps, he can hold. Like if I'm posting top rolling, if I'm top rolling to slip, he can hold on to me and say, no, you're not slipping. And not many people can do that. It's like, whoa, a lightweight's freaking redlining me on trying to slip. Like,
well, I've only ever gripped up with him once, and it was when he was still pretty new. So I kind of just jumped on top of him, and I ended it pretty quick. But he's changed a lot since then.
The Burnett family are a really unique family. There's something about them. I don't know what it is, but all of the Burnett children are phenomenally talented at everything they do. They've all got world titles in freaking 8-ball, and they're all now becoming elite arm wrestlers. Every sport they've ever touched, they nail. Academically, they're brilliant as well. It's like, what the hell is with this?
Good genes, eh?
Brothers. I think they could be like the Australian versions of the Zola Webs in the future. Like the Burnett's are 4 years into the sport. Sam is 21, Nick is 19, Josh is 17, and then Junior is like 7. So they've got the best possible scenario for training in each other. They group up every day, and they're all super technical pullers, very instinctive, and genetically they are built so strong. It's just ridiculous how strong they are, and it's like what the hell?
Yeah.
Their genes are good.
I've seen you go in the gym with them, and yeah, they all look like they're just going to be, just give them time, and they're all going to be up there.
Yeah. So that's internationally, I'd love to see Sam do something and whatnot. But anyway, it's a good time for the sport right now, even though it's a shit time. There's seems to be a lot going on despite all the COVID stuff. So it's good.
That's great.
Who you got? I don't know. What's your
with you and Lachlan?
Don't say me just because you're talking to me.
Well, like I said, I've been kind of going backwards and forwards. Every time I think I'm set, I know I have a good idea who I think's going to win. I'll see a new video and I'll be like, oh, Jesus. So like I said, I'm finding it hard to see Lachlan winning off the go. I just think you're going to be too comfortable. And I just think you're just going to be too good off the go. And then it just comes down to whether he can sort of stop it in a good position. But I'm leaning towards you more, again, because of that. And also just the experience. You've had way more ready goes. I think, I just find it hard to see Lachlan winning off that start, but I'll be surprised anyway. If the ready go happens and he slams, sorry, what was that?
I said, but he is a strong fucker.
Yeah, he is, yes. So again, that's why it's so hard, because I felt him for Ryan Scott, and he felt like an absolute wall, and he reckons he's stronger. So but then I know you're obviously a lot stronger, because I mean you were pretty banged up that day, and I'm sure you're far stronger now. So it's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. It really is. It's actually really fun too. I did for a match that was not the choice of either of us. We both wanted to pull someone else before facing each other. It's ended up becoming something really awesome. And it really does feel like this is the moment to really declare who's number one. So I'm really pumped, really looking forward to it.
I think everybody is.
I'm ready.
So just another quick question on sort of the Ben front. Who do you think out of you and Lachlan stylistically gives him a better match? Like, not necessarily, I mean, obviously if you'd verse him, you'd want to probably finish it pretty quick, I'd say.
I think Lachlan would be prepared to go wrist on wrist with Ben, where I wouldn't want to go wrist on wrist with Ben. I'd be trying to beat Ben kind of similar to the way I'm going to try to beat Lachlan.
Well, I was going to say that, Ben's very heavy on getting the wrist flexion and sort of drag. That's where I think him and Lachlan would be fascinating, because they would both just want this wrist flexion. And I don't know, whoever's sort of got the most pronation to stay on top. It's fascinating.
I mean, I think we have to see it. No matter what happens with Lachlan and I, Ben needs to face both of us at some point in the next 12 months. I think doing the right thing by Ben, he should face the winner of Lachlan and I next, and Ben sits there as the number one contender, as the first guy in the line to have a crack at that formal position. But regardless of that, I'd love to see him fool both of us. I think it's just super interesting.
Well.
It's super interesting.
I just want to see that just power on power with him and Lachlan just slamming into each other and.
Exactly. That's it. Just find out who has more horsepower when they both just go straight at it. That's awesome. Yeah, I don't want to go straight at either of those two dudes. Screw that.
It's horrible. Ben's flop press is pretty nasty. So.
Well, that's it. Yeah, the flop press that he's discovered is dangerous, and that's where people like Jordan, for instance, like. Jordan would probably be able to take Ben's wrist based on what I'm seeing from Jordan right now. But then it's like, well, Ben would go, oh, okay, Cool.
Yeah, and I commented on somebody asked how he'd go, and I said that. I said, oh, I think even if sort of he took his wrist, Ben wouldn't really care. So it's whether Jordan's got enough bicep to keep his arm up. Which that's the part I find.
I would love to see Jordan and Ryan Scott. That's a match.
Yeah,
I
would as well. Yeah, 100%.
The battle for up the top like that, that would be great. I think that for me right now. That's a 50-50 match, Ryan Scott and Jordan.
I want to see Mario and Ryan Scott as well. I think that'd be another great match.
And I want to see Vitali and Brett.
There's some good matches to be had, isn't it? If COVID just disappeared and you could put on one event, it'd be pretty special.
Yeah. When it finally does happen and we get one big event with all those names turning up in the same room, man, winning that tournament and throw Matteo Rangi in there as well, winning that tournament, whoa, that's a big deal.
So a big deal. Obviously you'll be still doing over the top.
Yeah.
Are you going to try to get even heavier for that, or still around that?
Well, my long-term plan is to get as strong as I can. I expect a decade from now that you're looking at a 125 kilo guy.
Jesus.
So, so I'm not going to be restricting myself for any weight categories, but you'll see me intermittently over the next few years probably cut weight for little moments in time at events. Like at the moment, I'm saying I'd be prepared to cut to 95 for a Zloty. In 3 years' time, I might be saying I'm prepared to cut to 105 for Zloty. But my long-term goal is just I want to be the number one in the country. I want to cement that, and then it's just I want to climb the international ranks as high as I can. So I want to eventually, like at the moment, my goal in the international is to qualify for the 95 kilo top 8. I'd love to do that and then see how deep I can go in there. I'd love to qualify and then just finish in that top half.
That really suits you, that format, super match format. So
6-round format, that's just me to a T. So I'd love that. But eventually I'd like to qualify for the big top 8. So we'll see.
I could imagine you a 125 kilo version of you to be like the right side of your body would just be 4 times the size of your left. You'd just look.
It is becoming quite extreme. The difference between my left and right is kind of nuts. But
although looking at some training footage, it looks like your left's still sort of starting to get up there as well a bit.
This last few months, even though I haven't done any specific bicep work, for instance, on my left, there are a lot of things I'm doing. I'm doing a lot of pressing, so my left is moving in that. I'm doing a lot of tricep work, which is involving my left as well. And I am doing light bicep stuff on my right. So like at the end of a session, I'll just grab like 10 kilo dumbbells and be just doing some volume. So I'm getting the volume on my left. I'm just not doing anything heavy.
Yeah.
Nothing heavy happens on my left.
So it probably feels healthy then.
Yeah. So my left is actually growing and looks good. And yeah, it's starting to actually. I mean, I gripped up with Grant Tolentino.
You look like you destroyed him.
Yeah. Traditionally, I can't do shit with him on left. And I could hold him in a hook and he couldn't pin me. And I'm like, oh shit, look at this. I can hold Grant's left hook.
I seen one clip of that and I was like, what the hell? What am I watching?
Yeah. It surprised me as much as it surprised Grant. I think Grant was like, oh man, seriously, I can't do anything against your left. So I don't know, maybe. I mean, I pulled a left hand impromptu super match with Jordan 3 weeks ago as well. And he felt like a child on my left.
And I mean, his left is still, I mean, the last time I versed his left, he destroyed me. So his left is still pretty good.
So I don't know. So maybe my left has arrived and I'm not even aware of it. I don't know. But the thing about my left is it sucks. When we talk about arm wrestling, it doesn't suck in an arm wrestling table IQ sense. It sucks in a conditioning sense. It is not conditioned to do the things I want it to do.
Yeah, I have
a defensive hook that I can be great in. I have a posting top roll that I can hit off the go, but nothing in between. If I'm not strong enough to just win with a posting top roll and I have to use my defensive hook, I need my opponent to basically give up. I can't
Yeah.
transition. I have no rotation. It's just, and it all feels uncomfortable. So
Yeah, it's exactly the same as me. So I'm going to have a left match with Luke soon. Obviously, he's the current state champ over here for under 80. And I know that if that match stops, I'll hold him out for a while, but there's no way in hell I'll be able to win. It's the same thing. It's like it either wins quick or it loses.
You have to end up pinning him using a defensive position. So you have to like drop your body so low in a defensive hook. But anyway, oh yeah, I'm all about the giant pumpkin. I've genuinely been giant pumpkin my entire life, and that's because I was a tennis player as a kid.
Yeah.
So everything I did was right-handed, and then I got to arm wrestling, and obviously, everything I've done is right-handed. So time under tension is 99% right to left ratio. So yeah, I like it that way. It's pretty cool.
Oh, right arm's the money arm.
It is. It is. It is.
All right, man. Well, thanks for your time and coming on, having a chat. Like I said,
I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. This is a good one. I'm looking forward to it. So I appreciate you asking some good questions too. Because like I said, you in particular, I think you personally actually have the best perspective there is to have on who I'm facing. And that might sound weird to everyone else, but you felt Lachlan the day before he was due to face
he was
Ryan.
prepared.
So that is what I'm facing, plus a little bit more or whatever he reckons is better. So yeah, I enjoyed this chat because I know that you know exactly what I'm up against.
Well, I was going to send Lachlan a message and see if he'd want to have a chat with me as well. So it'll be interesting to get his responses.
Get him on there. He's been real quiet. I haven't heard his thoughts, but he'll be upset just hearing me say everything I've said here. This will be all more reason for him to get all flustered on the day. So Lachlan, best of luck maintaining control of your emotions. Just make sure you have that helpline number ready at the end of the match.
I'll make sure I intro with that. add some more fuel to the fire. I want to see some fireworks.
We've gone this far, we might as well just throw fuel on the fire now. There's no point in trying to cool it down.
Awesome. All right, man.
Thank you so much.
I'll let you go. Yeah, thanks a lot.